Sabhaya Namaha. Really, we should feel an Indian because our nation is greater than other countries because we have unity in diversity. Lots of religions. Though we are primarily Hinduism, but we are not seeing difference from Christianity, Islam, Buddhism, Jainism, etc. Our motto is only one. We are all one, feelings are none. This culture adopted from our ancestors. So, how we are lucky to have such ancestors who made our mind to be an Indian. That's why we people are living like brothers and sisters in India. That's why Swami Vivekananda, when he went to Chicago for World Religious Conference, there also he uttered our Sanatana Dharma in the form of my dear brothers and sisters of America. We have brotherlyhood in India. That's why we people never show any difference between our Hinduism or other religions. We have no such difference in caste or creed or religion. That's why we are very fortunate to say that we are Indian. Moreover, religions may be various, but all religions are unanimous in love is God, worship mother and father, do your duty without expecting anything. All these principles are generally common in all religions. There may be difference in their activities, but all religions preach Dharma. That's why India is called Dharma Bhumi, land of Dharma, Karma Bhumi, land of Karma, Veda Bhumi, land of Veda. So, we are very fortunate now to know about one of the religion is called Jainism, because they are also one of our brothers and sisters. We have to know Jainism, how it is started, who was a founder, how it expanded. These are very important to know about the religion. Now prayer. Today I am going to talk about Vardhamana Mahavira. Before that, prayer in Jainism. Om Namo Arihantanam, Om Namo Siddhanam, Om Namo Ayaniyanam, Om Namo Vajjayanam, Namo Loye Savvasahunam, Aiso Panchanamakaro, Savvapavapanashano, Mangalanam cha Sambesi, Padamam Havai Mangalam, Mangalam. Vardhamana Mahavira, also known as Vardhamana, was the 24th Tirthankara of Jainism. He was a spiritual successor of 23rd Tirthankara Parshvanatha. Mahavira was born in the part of 6th century BC into the royal Kshatriya Jain family in present day. It is situated in Bihar in India. His mother's name was Trishala. He abandoned all worldly possessions at the age of about 30 and left the home in pursuit of spiritual awakening, becoming an ascetic. Mahavira practiced intense meditation and severe penance for 12.5 years, after which he attained Kevala Jnana. He preached for 30 years and attained moksha, salvation, liberation, whatever it may be. in the 6th century BC, although the year varies by sect. According to the Digambara tradition, Lord Mahavira was born in the year 1650 BC, 615 BC, but the Svetambaras believe that he was born in 599 BC. Both sects, however, agree that he was the son of Siddhartha and Trishala. It is said that Mother Trishala had 16 auspicious dreams before the child was born. Astrologers interpreting these dreams stated that the child would be either an emperor or a Tirthankara. As the son of a king, he had many worldly pleasures, comforts, and services at his command. In a boyhood, once he was playing, he brought under control of a terrific serpent. Consequently, and symbolic of this feat of bravery, he got the title Mahavir and Veeranath. The childhood itself he had showed. However, at the age of 30, he left his family and the royal household, gave up his worldly possessions, and became a monk in search of a solution to eliminate pain, sorrow, suffering from life of all beings. Mahavira left home, retired to the park, Jnatrukhandavana, close to Kundapura, and relinquished his ornaments and clothes. He pulled out his hair by his hands, observed fast for 3 days, and then plunged himself into meditation. After some time, he started touring various parts of the country. He strictly followed ahimsa, not to deprive others even a blade of grass belonging to them, not to speak lie, not to entertain any sex appetite, even in mind, and not to have any possession of worldly goods. Along with the practice of his 5 great vows, he got himself habituated to endure with peace and patience all such physical and mental tortures like hunger, thirst, cold, heat, insect bites, etc., known as parisaha. After attaining omniscience, Lord Mahavira came to Rajagriha, the capital of Magadha, and took a worthy seat on the Mount Vipulachala. Here he propounded to the audience the basic principles of Jain Dharma, the Anuvrata for the laity and Mahavratas for the monks, whereby the blissful ideal of life can be reached. Lord Mahavira spent the next 30 years traveling barefoot throughout India, preaching the eternal truth what he had realized. The ultimate objective of his teaching is how one can attain total freedom from the cycle of birth, life, pain, misery, and death, and achieve the permanent blissful state of one's self. This is also known as moksha or nirvana or absolute freedom. Mahavira taught that observance of 5 prime vows of ahimsa, mean non-violence, satyam, truth, asteya, non-stealing, brahmacharya, chastity or celibacy we can say, and aparigraha, non-attachment, or necessary for spiritual liberation. He also taught the principles of anekantavada, mean many-side reality, Syadvada and Nyayavada or Nayavada. Mahavira made religion simple and natural, free from elaborate rituals. Mahavira teaching reflect in internal beauty and harmony of the soul. Mahavira taught the idea of supremacy of human life and stressed the importance of a positive attitude towards life. Mahavira said that a living body is not merely an integration of limbs and flesh, but it is abode of the soul which potentially has infinite perception, mean Ananta Darshan, infinite knowledge, Ananta Jnana, infinite power, Ananta Virya, and infinite bliss, Ananta Sukha. Mahavira's message reflects freedom and spirituality, developed or undeveloped, are equal, and we should love and respect them. In this way, he preached the universal love. Lord Mahavira taught that the true nature of reality is timeless, with no beginning or no end, and rejected the concept of God as a creator, a protector, or a destroyer of the universe. He also taught that worshipping heavenly gods and goddesses as a means of material gain and personal benefits is contrary to the path of liberation. Once Lord Mahavira was asked, "What is a religion?" From a realistic point of view, Lord Mahavira said, the realistic religion consists of 4 parts. What are they? Equality of all living ones. To every living soul has a right to put self-effort to improve itself and should not be stripped of the right. Third, no one should rule over the other living beings. Fourth one, all situations should be viewed with equanimity, without like or dislike. If one adopts only one of these 4, other 3 will automatically be adopted. Now let us see the teachings of Mahavira. He taught, see, every soul is independent, none depends on other. Next, all souls are alike, none is superior or inferior. Every soul is in itself absolutely omniscient and blissful. The bliss does not come from outside. All human beings are miserable due to their own faults, and they themselves can be happy of correcting these faults. Next, the greatest mistake of a soul is non-recognition of its real self, and can only be corrected by recognizing itself. There is no separate existence of God. Everybody can attain Godhood, Daivatva, by making supreme efforts in the right direction. Know thyself. Recognize thyself. Be immersed by thyself. You will attain Godhood. God is neither the creator nor destroyer nor anything of the universe. He can remain unaffected and unattached to God. He is merely a silent observer and omniscient. Fight with yourself. Why? Fight with external foes. Foes mean enemies. He who conquers himself through himself will attain heavenly happiness. All beings hate pain, therefore one should not hurt, kill them. Ahimsa is the highest religion. A man is seated on the top of a tree in the midst of a burning forest. He sees all living beings perish, but he does not realize that the same fate is soon overtake him also. That's why man is a fool. Mahavira's message to the people. Lord Mahavira was born in Bihar in 599 BC. His father name was Siddhartha and mother name was Queen Trishala. His mother had so many auspicious dreams during her pregnancy. When he born, his father's wealth increased. That's why they decided to name newborn child as Vardhamana, which means ever increase. As time spent and Vardhamana became young and handsome prince, due to his brave nature, he also became detached from mundane pleasures, and he decided to renounce the worldly pleasures in search of enlightenment. He went to his elder brother Nandivardhan to take permission. His brother was worried about handling the palace and stayed by single hand. He told Vardhaman to stay in the place for 2 more years. Vardhaman accepted this and stayed at his palace for 2 more years. During this time, he distributed his wealth to the needy and disbursed to the poor and needy. He practiced meditation and fasting. Finally, at the age of 30, the day of renunciation of his palace, he came out. Thousands of eyes were watching at him. He was looking great in the shining dress and ornaments. Gradually, he removed all the cloths and ornaments attached with his body. He plucked out his long hairs by his 5 handfuls. He put a single cloth on his shoulder and uttered Namo Siddhanam as he left the palace. He didn't even look back at his palace. There was a great joy and happiness on his face while he was leaving the palace. Now began the long journey of 12.5 years of Lord Mahavira's. During these 12.5 years, he bore many obstacles and calamities peacefully and silently. During these years, he was tested by heavenly beings like Sangham. He was bitten by the snake, tortured by undomesticated peoples, and at last his ears were plugged with grass sticks. But he tolerated all the pain silently and happily. He forgave all the people. During these 12.5 years, he had taken meal only equal to 1 year. And he had taken sleep only for 48 minutes. Once he observed fast lasting for 5.5 months without even drinking water. He remained in deep silence and deep meditation. Mostly he used to stand in Kayotsarga, or mean motionless posture. Kayotsarga, like a rock. His heart was always filled with compassion toward every form of living beings. He always kept his eyes on the ground while walking, so he could not step on small insects. Observing the details of Bhagavan Mahavir's 12-year period of spiritual practice, it becomes evident that his practice combined 4 qualities, major qualities. What are they? 1. Deep and undisturbed meditation. 2. Rigorous penance. 3. Extreme tolerance of pain. And 4. Ultimate equanimity. Finally, after 12 long years of spiritual pursuit, he came to the village and sat in the meditation in a cow milking posture. It was evening time. His mind was absorbed in the highest type of meditation. He was observing the fast for 2 days without even drinking water. The sun was setting in the west and the sun of omniscience was rising within his soul. Soon Lord Mahavira attained full enlightenment and awakening, visualizing everything in the entire universe, knowing the feelings of all the living beings of the universe. Mahavira had become Bhagavan, mean God, Jina, mean victor, Sarvajna, all knowing, and Sarvadarshi, all perceiving. Omniscience. According to traditional accounts, Mahavira achieved Kevala Jnana, mean omniscience or infinite knowledge, under a Shala tree on the bank of the river Rijubalika near Jrimbika Grama at age of 43 after 12 years of rigorous penance. The details of the event are described in the Jain Uttar Purana and Harivamsa Purana texts. The Acharanga Sutra describes Mahavira as all-seeing. The Sutra Kritanga expands to all-knowing and describes other qualities. Jains believe that Mahavira had a most auspicious body, mean Paramaudarika Sarira, and was free from 18 imperfections when he attained omniscience. According to Svetambara, he travelled throughout India to teach his philosophy for 30 years after attaining omniscience. However, the Digambara believed that he remained in his Samavasarana, and delivered sermons to his followers, disciples of Mahavira. Jain text document 11 Brahmins as Mahavira first disciples, traditionally known as 11 Ganadharas. Indrabhuti Gautama is believed to be their leader, and the others included Agnibhuti, Vabhuti, Akampita, Aryavyakta, Sudharman, Mandita Putra, Maurya Putra, Achala Bharata, Maitreya, and Prabhasa. The Gandharas are believed to have remembered and to have verbally transmitted Mahavira's teachings after his death. His teachings became known as Ganipitaka or the Jainagamas. According to Kalpasutra, Mahavira had 14,000 male ascetic devotees, male lay followers, and 318,000 Shravikas, mean female lay followers. Jain tradition mentions Shrenika and Kunika of Hiranyaka dynasty, popularly known as Bimbisara and Ajatashatru, and Chetaka of Videha as his royal followers. Mahavira initiated his mendicants with the Mahavratas, means already said 5 vows. He delivered 55 pravachanams, means speeches, and a set of lectures. Chanda is believed to be the leader of female monastic order. Nirvana and Moksha. His views on, according to Jain text, Mahavira's Nirvana, means death, occurred in the town of Pavapuri in present-day Bihar. His life as a spiritual light and the night of his Nirvana are commemorated by Jains as Diwali at the same time that Hindus celebrate it. His chief disciple Gautama is said to have attained omniscience the night the Mahavira achieved Nirvana from Sikharji. His previous births. Mahavira's previous births are recounted in Jain texts such as Mahapurana and Trishashti Shalaka Purusha Charita. Although a soul undergoes countless reincarnations in the transmigratory cycle of samsara, the birth of Tirthankara is reckoned from the time he determines the causes of karma and pursues Ratnatraya. Jain texts describe Mahavira's 26 births before his incarnation as Tirthankara. According to the text, he was born as Marichi, the son of Bharata Chakravarti, in his previous life. Texts. Yati Vrushabhas Tiloya Pannati recounts nearly all the events of Mahavira's life in the form of convenient in memorization. Jinasena's Mahapurana, which means it includes Adi Purana and Uttara Purana, was completed by his disciple Gunabhadra in 8th century. In the Uttara Purana, Mahavira's life is described in 3 parvas or sections, 1818 verses. Vardhamana Charita is a Sanskrit Kavya poem written by Asaga in 853, which narrates the life of Mahavira. The Kalpasutra is a collection of biography of Tirthankaras, notably Parshvanatha and Mahavira. Samavayanga Sutra is a collection of Mahavira's teachings, and the Acharanga Sutra recounts his asceticism, his teachings. Colonial era Indologists considered Jainism and Mahavira's followers a sect of Buddhism because of superficial similarities in iconography and meditative and ascetic practices. As the scholarship progressed, differences between the teachings of Mahavira and the Buddha were found so divergent that the religious were acknowledged as separate. They were not united. Mahavira says, a very elaborate belief in the soul. His ascetic teachings have a higher order of magnitude than those of Buddhism or Hinduism, and his emphasis of ahimsa, mean non-violence, is greater than other Indian religions. His five was already said. Jaina Agamas enumerate the five vratas which ascetics and householders must observe. These ethical must be principles perpetuated by Mahavira. Ahimsa mean what? Non-violence or non-injury. Mahavira taught that every living being has sanctity and dignity, which should be respected as one expects one's own sanctity and dignity to be respected. Ahimsa, Jainism's first and most important vow, applies to actions, speech, and thought. Second, Satya means truthfulness, applies to oneself and others. Third, Asteya, non-straining, mean not taking anything that has not been given. Fourth, Brahmacharya means chastity or celibacy, we said, no? Abstinence from sex and sensual pleasures for monks, and faithfulness to one's partner of householders. Fifth one, aparigraha, non-attachment. For lay people, an attitude of non-attachment to property or worldly possessions. For mendicants, not owning anything. Mahavira is best remembered in the Indian tradition for his teachings that ahimsa is the supreme mortal virtue. He taught that ahimsa covers all living beings, and injuring many beings in any form creates bad karma, which affects one's rebirth, future well-being, and suffering. According to Mahatma Gandhi, Mahavira was the greatest authority of ahimsa, soul. Mahavira taught that the soul exists, a premise shared with Hinduism but not Buddhism. There is no soul or self in Buddhism, and its teachings are based on the concept of anatma, mean non-soul or non-self. Mahavira taught that the soul is dravya. Dravya means substantial, eternal, and yet temporary. Anekantavada, main principle of Mahavira. It is called Anekantavada. What he taught? Mahavira taught the doctrine of Anekantavada, in previously said, many-sided reality. Although the word does not appear in the earliest Jain literature or the Agamas, the doctrine is illustrated in Mahavira's answers to questions posed by his followers. Truth and reality are complex and have a number of aspects. Reality can be experienced, but it is impossible to express it fully with language alone. Human attempts to communicate or nayas. Language itself is not truth, but a means of expressing it. From truth, according to Mahavira, language returns, not other way around. His Anekantavada doctrine is also summarized in Buddhist texts such as Sammana Phala Sutta, mean Samanna Phala Sutta, in which he is called Niganta Nata Putta, and is different between the teachings of Mahavira and of the Buddha. A version of this doctrine is also found in the Ajivika school of ancient Indian philosophy. At the age of 72, Lord Mahavira attained nirvana, and his purified soul left his body, and he achieved complete liberation, mean moksha. And he became a Siddha, a pure consciousness liberated soul, living forever in a state of complete bliss. On the evening of his nirvana, people spiritually celebrated the festival of lights in his honor. Thus, Mahavira set an example for Indian tradition, culture. Shri Kantaya Kalyananade Nade Dram Shri Venkatanivasaaya Srinivasaya Mangalam Mangalasasana Prayer Madacharya Purogamehi Sarvaesha Purvairacharya Satkrutāyastu Mangalam.